Scugog makes $200,000 pledge to CT scanner campaign. Dan Cearns, Local Journalism Initiative reporter for The Standard. Scugog. The Township of Scugog is committing $200,000 over 4 years to the Port Perry Hospital Foundation's Here For You campaign. The donation announcement was made on Monday, June 7th. The campaign aims to raise $4 million to bring a CT scanner and other equipment to the Port Perry Hospital. Our community is growing, and so too is our need for essential care. Our hospital has always been there to support and care for our residents, and a new CT scanner will ensure our residents are provided with the care they need close to home, Scugog Mayor Bobby Drew said in a press release. On behalf of my fellow members of Council and the Township of Scugog, we are pleased to play a meaningful role in bringing the CT scanner to the Port Perry Hospital through a pledge of $200,000 in support of Lake Ridge Health Port Perry. In a statement, Port Perry Hospital Foundation CEO Rachel Agnaluzzi said the foundation is so grateful for the tremendous support from Scugog Township. This donation is the Township's largest investment in our hospital to date, is a testament to the importance of our hospital to the community, and brings us one giant step closer to bringing a CT scanner and other essential equipment to Port Perry, Ms. Agnaluzzi's statement read. Other people who are interested in helping this campaign are asked to call 905-985-7321, extension 45580. Further information can also be found online at www.pphfoundation.ca. Ontario government not allowing in-person classes until the autumn. Dan Cearns, Local Journalism Initiative reporter for The Standard. Durham, Kawartha. Ontario provincial government officials announced at a press conference on Wednesday, June 2nd, students will not be going back to in-person school classes until September. Premier Doug Ford explained, a return to school before more students and teachers are vaccinated could lead to thousands of new COVID-19 cases. Ontario's Premier shared, the potential threat of spreading COVID-19 variants was one factor in making this decision. While no one wants kids back in school more than I do, as your Premier, these aren't risks I'm willing to take, Premier Ford said. Students will continue virtual learning for the rest of the 2020 to 2021 school year. However, the province is encouraging students to host outdoor graduation ceremonies. The government will allow school boards to invite graduating students in elementary schools by class and secondary schools by homeroom quadmestered class to return to school in June for a short outdoor celebration where physical distancing is possible, read a provincial press release.
Bonner Boys Splash Pad reopened for the summer. Courtney McClure for The Standard. Uxbridge. With the summer heat rolling in, the Bonner Boys Splash Pad is reopening. It is great news. We have opened our Bonner Boys Splash Pad, said Uxbridge Mayor Dave Barton. We want our kids outdoors, having fun, especially with beautiful weather on the horizon. The Township of Uxbridge is asking all splash pad users to practice COVID-19 social distancing rules. Keep 6 feet apart and wear a mask when not on the pad. There is also a limited use policy in play when it comes to playing on the splash pad this summer. 10 people are allowed on the splash pad at a time, and users are asked to self-regulate while having fun. Please do not leave your child unattended. The Township is also asking people to limit their time on the splash pad. That way, it gives other people a chance to play, as there is a 10-person limit. Washrooms will not be available, and participants are asked to bring their own hand sanitizer from home. There is a shaded pavilion and an amphitheater at the splash pad, making it easier for people to watch their children while they're playing on the pad. The splash pad is located by the Uxbridge Area and Recreation Centre in Uxbridge on Brock Street West. Brock Township hopes to improve resident council dialogue with a new charter. Dan Cearns, Local Journalism Initiative reporter for The Standard. Brock. Brock Township Council is looking to improve communications between residents and members of council. At a meeting on Monday, May 31st, councillors passed a motion to request Township staff to begin drafting a comprehensive extension to the current Council Code of Conduct, or a separate set of policies, which will confirm the obligations to residents and taxpayers, including, but not limited to, a Council resident charter. The motion, made by Ward 3 Councillor Walter Schumer, explained the charter would outline responsibilities members of Council have to communicate with all residents and taxpayers of Brock Township in a manner chosen by individual councillors, and include a comprehensive and fair social media policy, as well as a pledge so members of Council will treat residents and taxpayers with respect and courtesy during all interactions. A created complaint and appeal process, as well as an outline of circumstances in which a member of Council may discontinue communications with a resident or taxpayer. The motion set a target of September 2022 for the completion of all this work. I don't think we are starting from scratch. I'm not asking staff to reinvent the wheel. I think a lot of the work has already been done, and we can move this forward, Councillor Schumer stated. He also noted the City of Burlington was one municipality which adopted a community engagement charter. Ward 2 Councillor Claire Doble supported the creation of the charter, stating it would encourage positive communication and would give Council some standards for respectful dialogue. However, some members of Council felt this was too soon for the Township to be starting this process. Mayor John Grant explained the provincial government will be starting their own process to redesign municipal codes of conduct. My suggestion is we come back in September and have a discussion at that point, and see if we should proceed with this motion or not, Mayor Grant stated. Regional Councillor Ted Smith made a motion to defer Councillor Schumer's motion. Councillor Smith explained he feels it would be better to wait for the completion of the provincial process. Ward 5 Councillor Lynn Campbell agreed with Mayor Grant and Councillor Smith. I'm sure we can all be respectful and courteous in the interim, as we always have been in the past. So, because this seems premature because we are looking for something from the province, I will second the motion, she said. But Councillor Schumer felt the Township should move forward with this process now. The last thing I want to do is wait for the province. They've made some serious promises in the last year alone, and people in the province are still waiting for those to be hammered out, he said. The regional councillor's deferral motion was defeated 4-3. Then discussion resumed on Councillor Schumer's motion. Councillor Smith called the outline of the charter proposal regarding when councillors could discontinue communications with residents an overreach, and he feels it puts a lot of work and responsibility on staff. Councillor Schumer responded, stating similar procedures and protections already exist for Township staff members. If a resident is constantly and belligerently talking to staff members, we do have a provision where staff can cut off some communications with residents if they get out of line with our staff. Councillor Schumer's motion was approved, 5-2.
The bet. Dan Cearns for the Standard. Well, Toronto Maple Leaf fans, unfortunately, they did it again. As a result, the Leafs failed to advance to the second round of the playoffs for the fifth straight year. That playoff series saw losses to Washington, Boston twice, Columbus, and now Montreal. Coming into this series, I made a bet with a former colleague, Sierra Howie. If the Montreal Canadiens won a series against the Leafs, I would praise them in this column. Leaf fans, you may want to avert your eyes from this column, but this is me staying true to my word. I guess the best place to begin is in the net. The Canadiens still boast one of the best goaltenders in the National Hockey League, NHL, in Carey Price. Price was instrumental in Montreal's series win over Toronto, finishing the series with a 0.932 save percentage and a 2.24 goals against average. Throughout his career, Price has won an Olympic gold medal, taken home the Vezina Trophy as the NHL's top goaltender, been an NHL All-Star several times, and won the American Hockey League AHL Calder Cup championship. As long as Price continues to be a superstar, the Canadiens' future will continue to be bright. The Montreal Canadiens have a long history of winning. They've won the most Stanley Cups of any NHL team, with 24 championship victories. In addition, they've had some of the NHL's best players suit up in the blue, red, and white, such as Maurice Rocket-Richard, Jean Béliveau, Guy Lafleur, and Patrick Roy. Currently, Montreal has some really promising young players in Nick Suzuki, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Cole Caulfield, and Alexander Romanov. These players will help guide the Canadiens into a period of contending for the Stanley Cup for years to come. The Canadiens also made some smart decisions during the free agency period and at the trade deadline, adding players like Tyler Toffoli, Eric Stahl, and Corey Perry. This added to a core of experienced players such as Brendan Gallagher, Philip Denault, and Shea Weber. I never thought I would, one day, be using this column space to praise my favorite team's most historic rival. But a deal is a deal. And to any Leafs fans reading this right now, don't worry, I'm not going to switch my allegiances to the Canadiens or any other NHL squad. And I plan on writing, later on, about what the Leafs management should do in the off-season.
The Standard Podcast was produced by Greenstream Studio for the Standard newspaper.